Hello. So this video is about a little bit more on the content of what Nirbeeja Yoga is. Now, Nirbeeja Yoga is an important part of Dharmapada for soul satisfaction, and Dharmapada for soul satisfaction is a means by which to be your own essential truth, walking in peace, and being contributory to yourself and to life. In a way that has life be worth living for while you become the best version of yourself, while you're walking the path of truth and peace. So the goal needs to be something that is not just limited to you, but something that may be larger than yourself, than maybe your immediate environment, maybe even future generations. Yeah, which would also be good enough for future generations. And it's the path that it requires, that it takes for you to move from where you are to getting to that which most inspires you, by which you are a contributive member, a child of the universe, a child of consciousness, a child of life. And in the time frame of a lifetime, what you can do to make your best efforts, your time, and with what you have, to make life worth living, that has life be sustainable for yourself, for people around you, for future generations to come. So that's a little bit of the content on what is the intention and what Dharmapada for soul satisfaction makes available. And Nirbeeja Yoga is at the heart of the work that informs Meristem intelligence, where Meristem intelligence is the being and becoming of a person it's a being and becoming of the tree of life through the path of wisdom. Yeah. Now, in Nirbeeja Yoga, the Dharmapada in Nirbeeja Yoga is about coming. Well, let's just say it this way. Nirbeeja Yoga helps to repair the fabric of time and space. The fabric of time and space is the Dharmapada in it is in coming in sync with all that makes us, us. Now, what we mean by us is a person is essentially a body. Now, you call a person by name, but it's more like you call a chair, because a chair is a label for that object, which is a chair. We call it a chair, but it's basically a sitting place. Now we call a bench, when we say bench, what comes to mind is a bench, a flat surface, with four legs. A chair is one you may see with a back, or a stool is one without a back. So the name invokes the image, a representation or a memory of what that object is being referred to. And when we say a human being, what comes to mind is usually, at least typically, two legs, two hands, a trunk, a head, a human, anatomy. And when we say a person, like say when you say Bita, or when you say Adam, or when you say any person, Juliet, say anybody, what comes to mind is the person with that name, who you remember having that name and looks the way they look. Yeah. So when I say, Dharmapada for soul satisfaction, or Meristem intelligence for that matter, it's about one person. And the work is about coming home to oneself, so that a person is like what the name represents. Well, the name is a signifier. Yeah. So when you are coming to be kind of more a representation or in sync with it, just like a chair invokes the image of a chair and nothing else. Yeah. That says that, to what extent the image and the representation of a chair has been so fixed in our mind that nothing else but a chair's image comes to mind when we say chair. So when our lives are so much in sync with what we have, what we are, there is no confusion about what we are referring to. So repairing the fabric of time and space is much like that. Our lives are not just something outside of us, but it's what we are within and what we are out, and what we are outside. Yeah. Now, Nirbeeja Yoga is about coming in sync with all that makes our body a body. When I say our body, what I mean is your body and my body, my body. Yeah. Now, what makes your body, my body, my body? And that means I have the skin, I have the muscles, I have the tissue, blood, bones, tendons, ligaments, and plasma, and cerebrospinal fluid, neurons. All of this. What makes my tissues, my tissues? And they need to be in such a way that they are in sync with each other, not in clashes. Because when there are clashes, you get autoimmune diseases, cancer, different kinds of heart conditions, lung conditions, osteoporosis, etc., etc., which means the tissues are not the way they need to be. And Dharmapada for soul satisfaction, well, Dharmapada in Nirbeeja Yoga is about bringing back the integrity of our tissues the way they need to be. Now, why is this important? Is because we all have health, we all have life. But incidentally, when we have a problem, we tend to, instead of taking care of ourselves, we take care of ourselves to the extent that we know how to take care of ourselves. Like when we have bad breath in our mouth, we tend to brush because we know that that tends to take away the bad breath. Or when we have, say, a cold, we may drink water or, keep ourselves warm, because these are the things we know by which we can, heal these immediate allergens and etc. We don't run to the doctor always. But if we do too, half of the population in our hospitals is because of things we can learn to do ourselves. And then I've also heard, there are several news breaks on how doctors, hospitals are ill-treated because they are not attended to timely. Doctors, they are caretakers. I mean, they are trained to heal and treat people. But when there is some part of healthcare that we can maintain by ourselves, what we are doing is we are sharing what need not be a burden on somebody else. We are learning to maintain our own health. And then we have these resources by which we can get healthy. Say there is a need for a surgery, then we have specialists. These are specialized people who are trained to do that. But a lot of maintenance that can be done by ourselves. Now, Nirbeeja Yoga makes that available so that when we have a health issue, it begins with protection, prevention. Protection is better than prevention, is better than cure. So what we are doing is we're protecting our health so that there is no diseases happening. And when we can prevent any diseases happening, then comes how much is the need for cure. When a lot of people are protecting their health and preventing diseases so that a cure is not necessary as much, then we are already having a healthy population. We are having a healthy earth family. And then once our health issues are not on emergency, then we would have a lot of people more thinking about how can we grow better healthy food, or think about all the accommodations and different things that needs to be done. Right now, a lot of our world economies is based on healthcare and several things related to it, because there is so much of stress going on to address this. So this is a way by which we can learn to maintain our own health and come home to our own tissues, to our own self, being in sync with life is a way by which we maintain health. Thank you for listening.